Hey friend, the ocean is a vast, cold mirror of the sky, but for decades we've believed that in one specific corner of the Atlantic, that mirror is broken. Imagine 5 Navy bombers, engines humming in perfect unison, flying into a clear afternoon on December 5, 1945. These were the Avengers of Flight 19, 14 men on a routine run they had completed a dozen times before.
But then, the radio crackles with something that shouldn't be there: fear. The flight leader says the compasses are spinning, the world is turning white, and the ocean doesn't look the way it should. Hours later, they vanish. Then, the search plane sent to save them, a massive PBM Mariner, disappears as well, swallowed by the same silence.
This wasn't the beginning of a tragedy. It was the birth of a legend. This is the Bermuda Triangle, a 1,000,000 square miles of ocean that supposedly defies the laws of physics. For a century, we have looked for monsters and portals. But today, we are looking for the truth. To understand the legend, we have to look at how it was manufactured. The Bermuda Triangle isn't an ancient curse, it's a modern invention. It started in 1950 with a journalist's hunch, but it wasn't until the 1970s that the myth truly exploded. Writers like Charles Berlitz turned routine accidents into supernatural events, suggesting that the lost city of Atlantis or extraterrestrial visitors were dragging our ships into the abyss. They drew a triangle between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, and then they started fitting every disaster they could find into that shape. If a plane went down hundreds of miles outside the border, they simply expanded the triangle until it fit the narrative. The mystery was profitable. It was exciting. But beneath the bestsellers and the sci-fi movies, there were real ships and real families waiting for answers that never came. Consider the USS Cyclops. In March 1918, this massive steel-hulled collier departed Brazil with over 300 souls and 10,000 tons of manganese ore.
It never sent an SOS. It never left a trace of wreckage. To many, it was the ultimate proof of a devil's triangle. But forensic history tells a different story. The Cyclops was operating with a cracked engine cylinder, reducing its speed and power. It was carrying a cargo much denser than it was designed for, and the crew had no experience stowing it. When it hit a violent storm off the Virginia Capes, the ship likely capsized in seconds. There was no time for a radio call. There was only the weight of the ore and the cold water of the Atlantic. 2 of its sister ships, the Proteus and the Nereus, would later vanish in the same area under similar circumstances, suggesting a fatal flaw in the ship's design rather than a hole in the universe.
But if it isn't ghosts, what is it? Scientists have spent years looking at the very bottom of the sea. Deep beneath the continental slopes, the ocean hides a sleeping giant, methane hydrate. This is natural gas trapped in an ice-like cage by extreme pressure and cold. It is stable until it isn't. A minor earthquake or a shift in the seafloor can trigger a massive release. Imagine a colossal bubble of gas erupting from the sediment and racing toward the surface. As it rises, it expands. When it reaches a ship, the water is no longer water. It is a frothy, aerated foam. The buoyancy of the vessel collapses instantly. The ship doesn't sink, it falls. Laboratory experiments have proven that a large enough bubble can swallow a model ship in the blink of an eye. Yet, geological records show that no such massive release has happened in the triangle for over 15,000 years. The theory is sound, but the evidence is missing. The atmosphere above these waters is just as dangerous. In 2016, satellite imagery revealed strange, hexagonal clouds over the Bahamas. Meteorologists describe these as air bombs, powerful microbursts that blast air downward from the clouds at 170 miles per hour. When these blasts hit the ocean, they create waves 45 feet high, moving in every direction. To a pilot, it's like being hit by a hammer from the sky. To a sailor, it's a wall of water that appears out of nowhere. These events are localized, violent, and leave no survivors. Combine this with the Gulf Stream, a powerful underwater river that moves at 4 knots, and you have an evidence disposal system. Any debris, any oil slick is carried hundreds of miles away in a matter of hours. By the time rescuers arrive, the sea has already cleaned itself. We also have to talk about the human mind. We are built to find patterns, even where there are none. We call it apophenia, the tendency to see a mystery because we want one to exist. In 2020, researchers finally located the wreck of the SS Cotopaxi. It was a cornerstone of the legend, a ship that vanished in 1925, supposedly the victim of a space-time warp. But it was found just 35 miles off the coast of Florida. It wasn't in another dimension, it was in the sand. Forensic divers found that the ship had been caught in a storm with faulty hatch covers. It was a tragedy of engineering and weather, not the supernatural. This is the reality for almost every unsolved case in the region.
The ultimate verdict comes from the one group that truly understands risk, the insurance industry. Lloyd's of London, the massive maritime insurance market, has watched these waters for centuries. They do not charge higher premiums for ships passing through the triangle. They don't even recognize it as a specific danger zone.
Their data shows that the incident rate here is exactly what you would expect for one of the busiest shipping lanes on Earth. There are more accidents here because there are more people here. If you account for the sheer volume of traffic, the triangle is no more deadly than any other patch of open ocean.
The ocean is a dangerous place, and it doesn't need a curse to be lethal. It only needs a moment of human error, a failing engine, or a sudden change in the wind. We look at the Bermuda Triangle, and we see a mystery, but what we're really seeing is our own fascination with the unknown.
We prefer the ghost story over the engineering report because it makes the world feel more magical, even if that magic is terrifying. We want to believe in portals because it means the people we lost might still be out there somewhere. But the forensic truth is more grounded. The sea doesn't keep secrets. It just waits for us to stop telling stories and start looking at the evidence. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle isn't a place of supernatural power. It is a monument to human fallibility and the unforgiving nature of the wild. The compasses didn't spin because of ghosts. They spun because of the agonic line and magnetic variation. The ships didn't vanish. They foundered in storms we failed to forecast. The real mystery isn't why things disappear in the triangle, but why we refuse to believe they are gone. The ocean is just water. The sky is just air. And the tragedy is always human. We search for shadows in the deep, but the answers have always been right there on the surface, written in the wind and the waves. The triangle is only as dangerous as our desire to believe it is. The sea doesn't have a memory. Only we do.